Wrestling's WrestleWave, and now we're getting ready for the championship matchup. The Mad Professor, who returned after an absence, is defending the BallyDung Championship here tonight. And this is somewhat of a unification. The Interim Championship will be unified with the BallyDung Championship. So here tonight, a big opportunity here for GhostLurker, the One, and for Brit, all to cement their legacy here. And the Mad Professor, of course, he said he wanted to go on a vacation with Kato, and Kato said that she would make it worth the Mad Professor's while. So the Mad Professor said that he needed to recharge, and he is probably fully energized and recharged now for this upcoming matchup, and he better be, because that championship that he has is on the line. And of course, during the time the Mad Professor was gone, the Interim Champion had the rights and privileges of being the recognized champion of BallyDung Wrestling. And of course, I am the holographic version of Rugged Rebel. I guess the Rugged Rebel did come back here tonight, but I guess he's hanging out in the backstage area. So it's surprising, because nobody had seen Rugged Rebel after that whole bounty situation on a 24/7. And here comes GL, still wearing that Interim Championship, and pretty much it was a buzzkill for GhostLurker on the 24/7, where he won the Interim Championship, because unfortunately for him, before he got the opportunity to enjoy all the rights and privileges of being the recognized BallyDung Champion, the Mad Professor came back and spoiled GhostLurker's party. So the legend, not very happy about his celebration being spoiled by the Mad Professor, and I'm sure he'll probably take out his frustrations tonight on both the One and the Mad Professor. And of course, the One got into this matchup when he interrupted a contract signing, really angered Claire, because Claire did not want the One involved in the title hunt, but the One added himself in anyway when he, I guess, knocked over the table, took the contract, and signed his name on there as well. As we see, HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, is going to be refereeing this matchup, so that'll be quite interesting to see how he does in this kind of matchup. But nonetheless, GL, he's got to feel slightly robbed or slighted in this kind of a matchup, because, I mean, he was supposed to be, in his mind, supposed to be coming in here the recognized BallyDung Champion, holding that interim title, but now he gets the chance. And he said, when the One added himself into the matchup, he said he wouldn't mind handing out a few more receipts to win the BallyDung Championship. So I guess the One got added in. The board of directors had a fit about it, but I guess since the One put his name to the contract, once you signed on the dotted line, and it was in permanent ink, and the contract was already drawn up, and it would probably cost a lot to rewrite the whole contract, the One was added in. So the One also, in a way, he feels that he was robbed, because he never was pinned or made to submit in a triple threat where he defended the Interim Championship. It was the One, GL, and Caneron, and the One was tossed out of the ring while Caneron got hit with the receipt and lost the matchup. So the One wasn't too pleased about that either, and he's not too happy about all the the plans that apparently Claire's been making behind closed doors and everything to try and cost the One titles and opportunities. And the One's holding that NCW title. Apparently Caneron also has an NCW title. So, and now both belts are being shown off, the Interim and the BallyDung Championship. Someone will walk away undisputed BallyDung Champion after this matchup. So these three competitors, they've got a lot at stake in this matchup, as the matchup is about to get underway. And who better than HBK to referee a match like this? I mean, this is high stakes, and if anybody knows high stakes, HBK knows high stakes, as he's been in a lot of high-stake matches, and he's been in a few firsts in the company that he worked for. And oh, Brit seems to be fired up and ready for this matchup, as now he and looks like the One and Brit are working together here on GhostLurker. And GhostLurker, the Interim Champion, I mean, this is a big night for him as well here at WrestleWave. And Brit, looks like Brit hasn't missed a step since coming back here to BallyDung Wrestling. And maybe that break was a good thing as the one hits the altered vision here. And now GL going right after the one. So much action here, and now a cover by GL, 1-2, and no, a kick out there. That would have been a very, very tough, devastating loss if Brit was to lose the matchup that quickly. I mean, this is a high-stakes matchup for Brit. He wants to prove to everybody that he is the rightful champion, and the reason he came back, he said, was because so many of the interim champions weren't able to retain the title through one match. He said that it was tainting the history of the belt to see so many different champions crowned, and you see the belt basically go from one person to another, from show to show, and it just angered the Mad Professor, I guess, to the point where he wanted to come back and show, apparently in his words, show everybody what a true champion is. And speaking of true champions, the Mad Professor is a true champion, no doubt about that. The one almost got the pinfall there on the Mad Professor, but the Mad Professor kicked out. And it looks like GL and the one are still trying to go at it here. And the Mad Professor just kind of taking it easy here, and that's a smart decision. And now the one hits the vision on GL through that table. The board of directors is watching this matchup very, very closely, and their table has just been destroyed by the one sending GL through it, and now the one going right after the Mad Professor, and that's a smart strategy here by the one to try and utilize here in this kind of a matchup. And the one hits the vision on the Mad Professor. And the Mad Professor is in a lot of trouble here as the one, and the GhostLurker now attacking the Mad Professor, but the one, he's been in, I believe, at least 2 matches here tonight. He's been in quite a number of matches on other nights too, but he started off, I believe, this show tonight defending the tag team titles in a 2-on-1 handicap match. He's got a new tag team championship partner in the RD after the results of the triple threat tag team title match. So a lot of stuff has happened here in WrestleWave that's changed the face of BallyDung Wrestling. And now it looks like GL is going to send the one right through the barricade. And both men are down. And the only man standing right now is the Mad Professor, who is showboating in the ring, but the one trying to recover as best he can. But I don't know how much more can be left in the tank as the Mad Professor Gorilla Press slams, or power slams, the that was a Gorilla Press slam on GL, I'm sorry, I apologize folks. And now, looks like the Mad Professor is going for a spear right through the barricade there. GL just went through the barricade as well. And now, the one is getting back into the ring, he's going up to the top rope and, drops down that high-risk maneuver, but I think he might have hurt his hand coming down on that thin padding on the outside. That stuff is not very protective, folks, especially when you're jumping from off the top rope, as HBK is watching this matchup very, very intently. And I believe HBK knows about triple threats, and, because, I think he's been in a few probably in his career. And, looks like GL is trying to now get his hands again on the Mad Professor, and this whole ordeal with the Interim Championship, I think it's caused a lot of controversy, but the one, surprisingly, was the person that brought in the Interim Championship. He was the one that thought that, no pun intended, he thought that it would be a good idea that BallyDung have a champion, because he said you can't just go around without a champion for a few weeks or months or however long the Mad Professor wanted to be out for. So the one brought in the interim title, and surprisingly, toward the end of the interim's title, career, it was, the one had it for a short term, but then GL won it, and GL is trying to defend it successfully. Look at that, GL tapping out on the outside, but the referee isn't going to count it, I guess, on the outside of the ring. I thought for a minute there we might have had a new champion, because the one did tap out. But I guess, or GL or something, no, GL, I'm sorry, I apologize, GL tapped out. And so the one, I almost won the title with the Wonder Bar. But I guess the referee didn't count it on the outside. HBK is still standing in the ring as GL is beating down on the Mad Professor. I don't think he was too happy about being locked in a submission move and forced to tap out. As even though it didn't count, it's gotta piss him off because GL wants to show everybody you don't fuss with him, and he wants to walk out of here tonight as champion, as I'm sure the one wants to, and the Mad Professor would love to walk out of here retaining the championship, but there are so many different variables in a matchup like this as GL goes right back into the ring. But he's focusing too much of it. Oh, and now a clothesline. I was going to say he was focusing way too much of his attention on the one, and now a cover. One. No, and a kick out there by the Mad Professor. And GL, this is kind of, I think, the matchup that he wanted. He wanted to get the Mad Professor alone. And I think he wants to beat the Mad Professor, but I think either way, if he beats either of these competitors, it probably doesn't matter. But it seems like he's trying to single out the one and try to get the one out of the matchup so he can focus on the Mad Professor. But GL has stated at the contract signing, he said it didn't matter to him. He could hand out a few more receipts or finishing maneuvers to take that championship. And I think GL likes inflicting punishment on his opponents. So we'll have to see if GL, and now a cover. One, no, and a kick out there by the one. GL, the one, he's in a little bit of trouble here as GL is setting him up, and GL hits the receipt, and now a cover. One, no, and the Mad Professor wisely breaking up that pinfall attempt there. GL could have possibly taken the belt, but now the Mad Professor with a running power slam to GL, and now a cover, hooks the leg. One, no, two, and a kick out, and the one just saved the championship matchup, because I think that GL just about was possibly beaten there, but I guess we'll never know. But the one had to do what he had to do in this kind of a matchup. I mean, you don't just let somebody get a victory there, or and dash your hopes of becoming a champion just because they might have gotten a pinfall or something. But this is not an elimination matchup, though, folks. I am 100% sure of that. It is a one fall to a finish matchup, and that's what the board of directors and the one and everybody else agreed on in the contract. So, because it wasn't originally supposed to be a triple threat. It was originally just supposed to be a one-on-one between GL and the Mad Professor, but nonetheless, the Mad Professor now with a Gorilla Press slam to GL, and the one is going to hit the vision again on the Mad Professor. And now the one with a cover hooks the leg. One, two, and no, a kick out. We almost had a new champion there. The one almost became the new BallyDung Champion, almost became the Undisputed Champion. And the one has just been fighting valiantly. All three of these competitors are fighting valiantly to try and pick up the victory here as the Mad Professor gets taken down and out of the ring. And now GL stalking the one, and now he picks up the one and hits I think he's going to hit the go to sleep on the one. And now GL picking up the one again, and the one is in trouble here, getting set up. I believe GL is going to go for it. He's going to go for the receipt on the one, and now the Mad Professor is back in the ring and sends GL into the ropes. And GL now goes to the outside of the ring, and the Mad Professor now following GL outside, and the Mad Professor has GL set up, running power slam to GL on the outside of the ring, and the one is still inside of the ring, and the Mad Professor and the one, wait a second, the one, he hits the rock bottom, and I think this might be it. We might have a new champion as a cover, no, and a kick out there by the Mad Professor again, and the one hits the rock, the altered vision yet again on the Mad Professor, and now GL is back in the ring, and GL, wait a second, he's going to hit the one with the go to sleep again, the GTS, and he hits it, I believe, and now a cover, no, and a kick out there by the Mad Professor yet again, and now GL with a cover on the one, no, and a kick out there, and now GL setting the one up yet again for another receipt. The one might not like this, as now GL, he hits the receipt successfully. And now wait, the Mad Professor going in for the cover. No, and a kick out there by the one. And GL has been turned. Oh, wait a second. GL has the Mad Professor set up. But, oh, wait, the one trying to save them. Oh, the one comes to the aid of the Mad Professor. And I think that just pissed off GL. And yes, now he's got the one hooked for another receipt. And the Mad Professor kind of might have seen his title reign flash before his eyes right there. As now he sends GL into the ropes, onto the apron, and now down to the floor goes GL, and now the Mad Professor with a cover hooks the leg. 1, 2, and 3. The one was knocked out cold from the receipt by GL, and the Mad Professor is able to get the victory. He picks the bones, so to speak, of what GL did. And GL's got to be a little upset that he did a lot of the work. He knocked the one out with a receipt toward the end, and the Mad Professor tosses GL out of the ring, knocks him off the ring apron, and becomes the new champion. And GL wasn't able to get up from that knockout seemingly, as the Mad Professor Brit comes in tonight and retains the BallyDung Championship, and he is now the Undisputed BallyDung Champion. And what a huge victory this